Hero Siege drops April 3rd, and this is not just a normal season reset. 2 brand new progression trees completely change how you build your character and how you farm the endgame. The biggest issues the game has had for years, also fixed. This video covers everything that actually matters going into Season 9. Let's get into it. First up, the Incarnation Tree. The old hero tree is completely gone. In its place is a brand new passive skill tree with over 1600 nodes. You gain points through hero levels just like before, but the scale of this tree is on a completely different level. More nodes means more ways to specialize your build, more synergies to find, and a lot more build viability across the board. If you felt like Season 8 was pushing you in a handful of meta builds, that changes in Season 9. The Incarnation Tree is the single biggest reason why. Next, the Ether Tree. Think of this as an Atlas tree like from Path of Exile for your farming. You allocate points into specific mechanic nodes that boost and customize how your endgame farming works. This means you can tailor your farming style instead of everyone defaulting to the same 1 or 2 methods. It directly ties into the farming meta shift we'll talk about in a moment. But the short version is, endgame farming in Season 9 is yours to shape. New content, the Architect of Ruin. This is Season 9's new Uber boss. To spawn it, you collect fragments of existence from specific legion monsters across each act and combine them into a signet of existence. Beyond that, the patch notes don't give us much concrete details yet. We know it drops boss-only specific items, but how strong those items actually are remains to be seen once the season is live. What we do know is that it's designed as a high-end challenge with high-end rewards to match. Finally, the new class and free DLCs. Season 9 adds a brand new class called the Prophet. On top of that, 6 classes that were previously paid DLC are now completely free. Samurai, Paladin, Amazon, Demon Slayer, Demon Spawn and Shaman. If you're jumping in for the first time or coming back after a while, you now have access to all of those for free. Before we get into the meta changes, let's talk about something that's arguably more important than any single patch notes. 2 of the biggest problems Hero Siege has had for years are finally fixed in Season 9. First, performance. The game has been optimized on a fundamental level. Texture pages have been reworked for peak performance, lowering CPU overhead. If you've experienced frame drops or performance issues in the past, Season 9 should feel noticeably better. Second, the economy. This one is huge, especially if you've played for a while. Items are now handled server-side. What that means in practice? Item duplication is no longer possible, and RMT, real money trading, is drastically harder to pull off. If you've played in Season 8 or any season before, you know how much duping and RMT poisoned the in-game economy. Prices were inflated, legitimately farmed items lost their value, and the whole trading ecosystem suffered for it. That problem is fixed in Season 9. The economy starts fresh, and this time it's actually clean. Now let's talk about what actually changed in the meta. What was strong in Season 8 that you need to forget about going into Season 9? Starting with Chaos Pillar Codexes. In Season 8, this was by far the dominant farming strategy. Nothing really came close. In Season 9, it got nerfed hard. Combined with the Ether Tree opening up farming customization, the farming meta in Season 9 is going to look very different from Season 8. What the new optimal strategies actually are, we'll have to figure out that once the season is live. One thing is for sure though, once Season 9 is live, I'll be on the hunt for the most broken farming strategies and builds I can possibly find. So if you want to stay updated with that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I will cover them here. Next, Lucifer's Crown.
Nice. Miren, bañador, las chanclas, todo despeinado porque no me dio tiempo nada ponerme las chanclas y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea. Había subido la marea y encontré una paella. Estaba la paellera agarrada, metida entre las piedras de chipiones del faro. Con una paellera y a veces la vende paellera.
A bunch of items got corrected to only work within their intended archetype, and Roma boots are a good example of that. Their damage affixes used to work generically across the board. Now they're element specific, and the socket roll is a flat 2 instead of 4. The same type of change applies to a lot of other items across the game. Glacier Talons, for example, lost its intelligence to magic skill damage conversion that made it useful on basically any caster. If you were running items outside of their intended archetype in Season 8, double check them, because that probably won't work the same way in Season 9. Let's talk about items, specifically what's worth chasing in Season 9. And before we get into it, there are a huge amount of item changes in this patch. A lot of items got reworked or buffed to actually be viable now, so there's genuinely a lot to discover on your own. I'm just going to focus on the changes that I think have the biggest impact going into the season. First, overloaded dice. This item got a small nerf, losing the +2 to all skills and the 10 all attributes it had in Season 8, but that's not what we were using it for anyway. The real power of the item comes from the +1 to sub-skills of whatever skill it rolls. So in practice, this is a very minor nerf. What actually matters is the tier change from SS Satanic to Unholy, which means it's significantly rarer now. This is probably going to be one of the biggest chase items of the season, though keep in mind the value heavily depends on which skill it rolls. Find one that lands on a strong popular skill and you're sitting on something very expensive. Next, normal charms. Common charms could already roll well in previous seasons, but in Season 9 the potential just went up significantly. For the first time, small charms can have up to 3 affixes, large charms up to 4, and grand charms up to 5. The chance is small, but a god roll charm could genuinely be worth a lot. Make sure your loot filter is set up to catch charms with good mods. You don't want to miss them on the ground. Jewels have also been reworked. The random stat pool has been completely overhauled. Weak stats were removed, so the rolls you can get are just better across the board. Jewels could already be insane for certain builds in Season 8. That's still the case in Season 9, arguably even more so. Don't leave jewels on the ground, because these could be absolutely huge. And one more thing worth mentioning, Essence Vaults. In Season 9, they are a lot more worthwhile. The completion requirement is now easier than before. You need to kill monsters, legions and bosses in a specific act, and based on what we've seen in screenshots, the loot also looks much better. If you've been ignoring vaults, Season 9 is a good time to start using them. Last up, a few smaller changes that are worth knowing about before you jump in. Portals are now visible on the minimap. Shadow Realm, Eternal Battlefield, Unstable Rift, Unholy Siege and Archdemon's Plateau. They all show up once you're within range. No more accidentally running past them. The Terrestrial Market now automatically suggests a price when you list an item, based on recent sold prices for that exact item. It's essentially a built-in price checker. A small change, but genuinely a useful one, especially for newer players. The merchant can now identify all items in your inventory at once. Simple, but it saves some time. And finally, multiplayer. Monster HP scaling per additional player has been reduced from 125% to 65% across all difficulties. Playing with others is just straight up stronger now. So if you want to play with your friends, this is the perfect time to hop in. And that's everything you need to know going into Season 9. It drops April 3rd, a lot is changing, and it's a great time to jump in, whether you're a returning player or completely new to the game. If you're looking for a way to make money early in the season before you have good gear, I have a mining guide on the channel that should still hold up in Season 9. Check it out right here. Drop a comment with the class you're planning to play, and if this video helped, a like goes a long way.